This show was produced by the Geek Happy Network, creators of the very best in audible Oracle entertainment. If you enjoy listening to Represented, remember to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast app. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
The reason goes back to my dad. When I was growing up, he was one of the first people who got into computer science in the Philippines. If anyone doesn't know, I'm Filipino.
Yeah.
And he got into computer science back in the, I'd like to say 80s or whatnot in the Philippines. And he worked for one of the bigger companies down there. And that company started off with typewriters. It was still an old company. The computer age hasn't quite come to the Philippines at that point, and he was trying to help bring it to the company. And with him, he knew that it was a little bit of a struggle, mainly because the CEO of the company was this very old school, controlling freak kind of boss who would micromanage the shit out of everything. It came to the point where he would tell me stories about how they were building this building, and down to the type of nail that they would put into the building.
Wow.
He would have to approve that, the number, the size, the type.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, and it's, some people believe that. I'm not a big fan of that way of managing people, but that was the kind of boss my dad had to deal with. But what was amazing about my dad was he found a way to get through to him. He might not have changed his management style, but he found a way to adapt his way and listen to his boss and be able to translate it down. And a big part that he found out after talking to his boss about getting the computer age in there, because he was a little bit reluctant, the boss was a little bit reluctant about bringing computers to the company. One of the things he realized was that it wasn't that he didn't have the money for it or he didn't like computers. It was more that he didn't understand it, nor he was worried, and actually ultimately afraid of computers, I think, because he didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know what to do about it. And my dad heard that loud and clear, and he eventually found a way to get them into the computer age, if you could call it that. And how he did it was he got the CEO, the whole board of directors, the entire executive group, essentially, to sit down in a boardroom one day. And he gave each of them a computer. And instead of teaching them how to use a computer, he gave them almost essentially just two instructions. One, to turn on their computer, and two, to open this program called Solitaire, which is a game. And he taught them how to play that game with a computer. And what he told me why he did that was because it's quite simple, in that he said you can't do proper work, or you can't love what you're doing or love what you're using if you don't actually love it or enjoy it. So why not start with the fun side and then teach them everything else once they got that? I think that was the first lesson I had growing up about how to work.
If you'd like to be a guest on the Represented Podcast, feel free to hit up at Represented Podcast on Instagram or email us at representedpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. Come give us a listen at geekhappynetwork.com or look for us on your favorite podcast app. And be sure to follow us on Facebook or Instagram at Geek Happy Network.